I think the definition of greatness is to inspire the people next to you. It's not something that lives and dies with one person. It's how can you inspire a person to then in turn inspire another person that then inspires another person. And that's how you create something that I think lasts forever. And I think that's our challenge as people, is to figure out how our story can impact others and motivate them in a way to create their own greatness.
Welcome to the Welcome to the 3-on-3 podcast. That's right. You're tuned into the number one basketball podcast in the universe. I'm joined with my guys, my compadres, my amigos. I got my boy Ev here, my boy Lou. What it do? And we have the Pod Mamba, who is in the background, making sure that we continue to be that number one basketball podcast for you today. Another great show episode in store for you today. Hey man, the West Coast is set. The matchups are clear for the second round. We'll be diving into that. But the East said, no, man. We need drama. We need eyes. We need ratings. We need excitement. So we have game sevens across like 3-4 matchups. We're going to be talking about that on the East Coast. And last but not least, there's a new anti-tanking rule in place for next season. So we'll dive into that if time permits. But let's start off with the West Coast, man. The West is set, guys. We have the matchups for the next round, and they will be the Thunder versus the Lakers and the Timberwolves versus the Spurs. So it's all set in the West. I'll start off with you, my brother Evan. What are your thoughts? And we'll start off with the Minnesota Spurs side of things real quick. What are your thoughts on this matchup right here? And are you impressed with Minnesota being here since not most people had them on their bingo card getting out of Denver?
You got to give it to Minnesota, pulling off a game 6 against the Denver Nuggets, not letting it get to 7, despite the fact that they did lose Ant, who hopefully will be back for at some point in this Spurs series. We'll have to check and see. But they did it sticking to their identity for the past 3 years, especially from a defensive standpoint. We give a lot of grief to Rudy Gobert on this pod, but defensively he looked outstanding. Great team defense. You see, they went to a big lineup at one point when they had Gobert, Randall, and Nas Reed out on the floor. And it seems like it doesn't matter how many guards they drop, another guard steps up, right? Terrence Shannon with 24 points in game 6. I think he's in his second year. You had Io, 43 earlier in the series before he got hurt. So they're going to need that defensive identity against the Spurs. That's really what it comes down to. You got Frenchman on Frenchman with Gobert and Wemby. They're going to have to be able to bring that energy defensively, because the Spurs, they are an aggressive team, right? They showed it in the Portland series. They wanna be aggressive. They wanna beat up your guards. Wemby with the otherworldly defense on the inside himself, and they want to take it hard from you with aggression. The Timberwolves, all right, we're in 4 years now. I've seen them playoff tested from a defensive standpoint. So honestly, this is the one team that I think could still have a chance in the series without their superstar. And it's only based on the defense that they bring.
And by that one team, you mean the Timberwolves?
The Timberwolves. I think Ant is, as much as, and this is no disrespect to Ant, this is no shade to Ant. He's a phenomenal player, top 10 in the league. What they bring as a team, he's almost like filler in attitude. He'll have a game where he'll give you 21 points, 20 points on poor shooting, right? And they'll still win. If Jaden McDaniels can maintain what he showed, in this past series, Julius Randle just being all purpose. I
You
think
bringing up the X factor.
I am. They're X factors doing what needs to be done. I think they can hang for a minute. I think they can hang for a while. Hopefully Ed gets back in this series, but I think they can hang for a while.
So you
The only
go
thing is,
ahead, Lou.
I can't agree with you that they can hang with OKC in that space. You can't
Okay,
just
see, it's
hang
a
for a
different
while
topic.
to beat
Eh,
OKC.
Okay, see, it's a different topic now, but I think they could turn. I think they could turn the Spurs in the 6 or 7 games, stretch this out, take it in the mud, get it ugly, give Ant time to get
Maybe,
back.
maybe, but in terms of like you have the same intensity on the Spurs end that you have on Minnesota's. Your Champagne can cancel out a McDaniels in terms of like the same intensity he's bringing. Or if you wouldn't even talk about like, okay, cool, from a scoring perspective, it's like, yo, Castle can, you know what I mean, can cancel out your McDaniels. Who else that on Minnesota's end that you're gonna be banking on that's going to be able to get them? Cool. The defensive aspect is one thing, but who's gonna put the ball into the basket? You're not gonna rely on Gobert for that. How many times you're gonna have AO that's really gonna step up and be like, yo, who is really that your secondary guy on that Minnesota roster that's going to get you there when you have a multitude of them going against when you're looking at San Antonio. So, the model may work against Denver, and we have to have a real conversation about like, yo, we gave them, and I can speak for myself, gave them a lot of grace in terms of like, okay, you've been here before, so it's your series to lose. Joker in the criticism that he deserves with them not coming out of that series. But no, we have to be real about in terms of like going like if this is what Minnesota's showing is against Denver and just barely squeaking by, you're going into a San Antonio team that has a clear identity and they have a lot of pieces on their end in terms of matchups that can nullify what you have on your end and bring in the same type of level of defensive intensity. Then again, Minnesota is just kind of like they're on borrowed time.
I I definitely think this Spurs team is going to be a different challenge for the Minnesota Timberwolves as opposed to Denver. Denver, to echo what Ev was saying, I definitely think Rudy deserves credit. He made things difficult for Joker. We all know there's no stopping Joker, right? It is what it is. But what he and what he and the defensive minded teammates around him found was, hey, if we cut off the lanes for Joker and just make him post heavy, it gives us a fighting chance. Now, I just don't know if that same strategy will apply to the Spurs, given that, they do have guards who can put it in the hole, who are just equally athletic. And I don't see people, uh, Castle, Harper, I don't see them having a slump like Jamal did because Jamal Murray, which is crazy and sad to say, which we'll talk about in, I guess, another time, is he showed up all year, but he didn't show up during this series, right? Um, I don't know if I'm going to see that with the Spurs per se, just because they have redundancies. So if let's say Castle gets nullified, right? Harper can show up, Champagne can show up. They do have redundancies, whereas Denver didn't have
Vassal.
that. They, they didn't, yeah, they didn't. Denver didn't have that. Once Jamal was stopped, Cam he didn't show up, right? Aaron was in and out because of injury, and then Brown is more defensive. He'll shoot some threes. Christian Brown will shoot some threes here and there, but he's not your offensive guy. So I think it's going to be different. But what I will say is this: Minnesota is tenacious and hungry enough to make it a series to F's point. I think that I don't think there'll be an easy out. I think they'll put up a fight, but I don't know if the same game plan
Sa-
will work with them.
San Antonio is just as tenacious because again, you're talking about this is another young team, an even younger team that has developed the identity around what Wemby's ethos is when it comes to playing this game. So, without question, you're gonna get something that's much different, a different animal than when it came to Denver. Denver was, something of the old guard. You were able to, what I mean, knock out the wounded head lion, but these young gunners when it comes to San Antonio and and then really what's the next even if they were get to pass San Antonio, which would be surprising in itself, but getting to OKC, who are really like they right now are proven to be it's their time. I don't see that Minnesota has it.
Well, what I will say definitely is it couldn't have worked out better for the Spurs. Uh, Everything we've seen from this team this year, I mean, they are ahead of schedule. They've overachieved, and you're right. They've established themselves from an identity standpoint. They had their first taste of adversity when Wemby went down last series, and they could have stumbled, but they didn't. They handled business, the way a number two seed is supposed to handle business. So I give them credit for that. And now with Ant being out, I agree. It's definitely an uphill battle without Ant, right? So I'm not sitting there saying I'm still picking Minnesota to win the series. But it's definitely an uphill battle without Ant. So if you're the Spurs, you're looking at, okay, we had we handled business round one. We got a hobbled team in round two, and if it's the Thunder in round three, I don't want to disrespect my producer. If it's the Thunder in round three, uh, that they've been gearing up all year for them. So if you're a San Antonio fan, your mind is your mind is in great places right now.
But if you're a San Antonio fan, you want them to get these first two wins out the gate because
Absolutely.
Minnesota has beat them throughout in the regular season.
Yeah,
Minnesota
you
has
gotta
has
get it.
has
Yes.
taken them. It's been close, but Minnesota won those games. So you don't want to
Yep.
play with
Yep. Yep.
Minnesota
Yep.
as well too because they do have the youth, they do
You
have the defense, they do have the length. So if you have a healthy Minnesota, I think this goes 6 or 7. I 100% do.
well, you don't want to give
Honestly, I
them that
think it
type
can
of
still
life,
go
right?
there. So
Yeah, like you
I
said, like you don't want to give them that type of life. The first two games, you have to take whatever it is that they feel like they may be able to do
and to F's
away
point before
quickly.
we move on to the other side of the bracket on the West Coast is that is an intangible quality that Ant brings to the team. Like you were saying, that attitude, that gravitas, because it can galvanize. We've seen that, right? We've seen that player who is that high motor, that energy, that I hate that Draymond Green, that one that just sets the tone, that galvanizes the team. And Ant
You could have used Kevin Garnett as an example.
I could have, but Draymond Green also has 4 rings under his belt. So,
Ah,
I'm just saying he has
ah.
4 rings. He has 4 rings. Who can set the tone and make you believe that you can do it. And what I find interesting about this team before we move on, these teams, is they both believe they got it. Is they have that youthful ignorance and boldness about them. Like why not? That Westbrook, remember that Westbrook slogan he had for a couple
Mhm.
years? Why not? That's these two teams
Yeah,
exactly right here. Why not? And that's what
yeah.
got Minnesota out of the Denver series because they were like, why not? Like, no, we're it. So I'm
That's what
excited
got
about this
OKC
game.
to where they are now. Why not our time? So
I'm excited. So as Lou mentions, OKC, let's switch to that side of the bracket. The Lakers have vanquished the Houston Rockets to the Phantom Zone, closing out this series. And for their efforts, they are rewarded with the OKC Thunder, top of the league for their series in the second round. I'll start off with you, Lou, on this one. Do you see now? Austin Reeves did come back, so there's that. The last report I did see on Luca is that he's still a couple weeks away. And with games being what every other night now, maybe, and then I think there's a 2 game break
Yeah,
in between the schedule, a 2 day, I'm sorry, break in the schedule. He's not. It's not looking like he'll be back until the end, maybe, of this.
yeah.
If it
Depending how
gets
many
that
games it
far.
goes.
So yeah, so do
Mhm.
you think with Austin Reeves back, Lou, the Lakers have even better chance of extending this series?
No, I mean, like realistically, here's the crazy thing. I have to be cognizant of like how I'm going about this because how I call this previous series with the Lakers, and then now clearly I have egg on my face. I'm
We all
kind of
do.
just like, maybe I shouldn't say anything. I mean, but what I will say is in terms of when we looked at one of the most complete teams in the NBA from the beginning of the season, we've all been in agreement that OKC has been that team. Uh, without Luca on the court, even with Luca on the court, I think it still would be a task for them. But OKC has made it a point to show why they're the best team in the league. So I think that they may have enough to maybe give us a one or two exciting games, but decisively what will inevitably happen is it's so long that OKC continues the trend that they've had in terms of executing the way they should, not playing with their food, winning the games that they're supposed to win, playing the game to their pace, to their execution, to their strengths, getting the calls that they get, you know what I mean? So in your favor and having a completely healthy team. No, I don't see where Los Angeles can really come in and actually um, win that series at all. You know what I mean? How it should go is I best you'll get a gentleman's sweep with 2 exciting games. But OKC, it looks like, especially what they did in terms of against Phoenix. That's how you know it's like, okay, this is a team that came here to execute. They didn't waste time. They came in, they didn't play with their field, they play with their food, got Phoenix about here quickly. Whatever, Devin, cool. Show us, you know what I mean, the bag of chips that you are. But I mean,
Yeah,
let's
you
get
can't you
get you out
can't
of here
miss an
quick.
opportunity, can you?
Come on, man. Shay
Can't miss
Gilly,
an
you saw what my guy
opportunity.
did. He said, like, I'm gonna dap you up, but I'm also gonna let you know. Let me Photoshop that your jersey real quick and let you know what I mean. Y'all done got swept.
So let
They, they
me.
they're coming here to handle business, so I would anticipate that they will do the same thing when it comes to Los Angeles.
I don't know what it is about the good people of Canada, but maybe it's because they're so close. Shay has no problem uh, shading his fellow Canadians when he gets an opportunity to.
Because I'm about to
During
say,
during the
because Dylan Brooks ain't he
playoffs,
Canadian too.
Dylan Brooks after this series, Shay Shay gets back to Olympic practice and walks in like, y'all my sons, right? But back to the series though. I congrats Lakers. Congratulations. You definitely outperformed our expectations in round one. And we went in on that last week too. LeBron, the team as a whole, JJ Redick, incredible. I give you that. Y'all up against something different now. So I pull this off, make this one competitive, LeBron, and this is something different than all right. Now we'll never be having a different conversation about you at this point, LeBron. I mean, your career, your legacy, all that is set. But you want to add some
Evan, just keep
excitement
it
to the
playing.
end
Just say that no,
of it.
we'll never give you the greatest of all time.
We
However,
won't. We
we
won't.
will
But
sing your
however,
praises.
we
We will
will.
sing your
We
praises.
will. We will sing your praises. Uh, the thing that this was a 4-0 series during the season. 3 of the games weren't even close. Um, the one thing that they may have in their favor is in the middle of the season, the second game when Luca didn't play, they at least kept that one to a single digit game. And right now, I go back to the LeBron, the leader. He Between him and JJ, they're putting the game plan together that's maximizing all the players on the court. Um, I don't know. I'm gonna say something irresponsible. Could be true, could not be true. But you know, as excellent as Luca is, you all know how I feel about that. James Harden originated style
Come
of
on,
play,
man.
right?
Come
What
on.
does it do for the rest of the players on the court? Yeah, it
Exactly.
maximizes the person with the ball. Yeah, it looks good because you threw 10 lobs and you got 10 assists, but does it get the most out of everybody?
But
One
it
thing
also
with
makes the
LeBron,
defense
yeah, it
so much
makes the
easier for
defense
the other team.
predictable. The defense is predictable to defend. One thing I'll give LeBron, he's the smartest player on the court. All right,
Hmm. Every
he's
single
gonna
time.
right. He's gonna draw. I mean, I'm saying him draw up like he's the coach, but he's gonna
Yes.
facilitate basically,
And a
right?
lot of
He,
times
he
he
he's
is.
gonna
Let's be real.
facilitate how to get everybody in their prime position the most amount of times during the game to get the most out of his team. So if they're gonna be
Yep.
competitive, we'll see in these first couple games. But yeah, OKC, this is something different.
So, you know what this reminds me of it reminds me when Golden State was in their heyday. And one thing that Golden State did to other teams is they slimmed their margin of error. So, because of their
Mm.
high-powered offense and how efficient they were, OKC is not Golden State, but they're Golden State in terms of efficiency of scoring. And when you have a team that scores so efficiently, your margin of error is slim. Now, to F's credit, LeBron is a genius savant, whatever words you want to use, in terms of
Tactician, all of the above.
reading the game and understanding what's going on. My concern, if I'm a Laker fan, is that he does not have the personnel, right, that needs to execute like he needs
What
to
you
slim that
mean?
margin of
They
error.
got they got the best 3-point shooter in
You're right,
NBA
Luke
playoff
Kennard. You know,
history
people have
right
been
now.
singing his praises. I'm not gonna say who exactly has been singing his praise, but yeah, Rui, right? Don't
Rui.
the
Hey
one
yo,
with the
hey yo, hey yo,
best.
hey, hey yo, hey,
Hey,
hey, hey,
listen,
hey,
man.
stop it. Stop the madness. Stop
Coin
the
coin
madness.
flip Rui, okay?
Yeah,
50%.
Oh my
man,
Even
gosh.
the
50%,
odds.
Oh
man.
my gosh.
Yeah, who
Oh
cares
my
about the number of
gosh.
You
attempts?
know.
No, no,
Oh my
man.
gosh.
Shoot with 50%.
Are y'all
Might
done?
have been might
Are
have been
y'all done?
50.7.
Hey,
He
listen,
was buffing.
52, 51,
Come
man.
on,
Listen.
man. Come on.
It's not about the attempts. He has shown that he can hit 3-pointers at a clip that is almost Luke Kennardish, man. He's hitting like over 40% the last 3 years.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Oh, we
So we're
call
just gonna
that
dismiss what Stan Van Gundy and then we're saying last
Flash,
night in the broadcast.
Flash Cousins. What do we call that? What do we call
I
that?
don't know. Chet Holmgren in the OKC Thunder practice today said he's the Japanese Michael Jordan, but that's what he said.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whoa.
That's what
Okay.
he said.
Okay. So
That's
we
not
have
what I said.
We have Maple Mamba, Japanese Jordan.
Yo, we're getting crazy with the slander right now.
Yo,
But
we've lost
what
the plot. Yo, we've lost the
what I
plot.
will say,
We've lost
Yeah,
what
the
I
give
will
plot.
him a
say is
chance,
this.
man. They got Japanese Michael Jordan. You got to see DeAndre Ayton over here finally like showing how he's the first overall pick. Say enough is
Oh
enough.
gosh.
Dominating,
Okay.
huh?
Hmm.
I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
man. But what the Lakers need to really win this series is a defensive toughness and a level of execution that I don't think they can do for 4 games in a row and topple OKC. It's just tough. It's tough. But you know what? Ev's credit last episode. If LeBron wants to add another check to his legacy, man, and pull this one out, you might be considered the greatest. If you come out this series, man, and do this, listen. they might have no choice but to say you're that guy, man. They might have no choice. So, but we shall see. We shall see. All right, fellas, let's move on to the east side. So, East Coast basketball, man. We have a lot of game sevens, which I think they're saying this is the most sevens. I'm sorry, since back in, I forgot what the stat was, but it hasn't been this many game sevens since they went to the game seven format, and it was at '04, where they had this many game seven, and it's been great. I'm loving it. This is a good time of year for NBA fans. You're seeing a lot of competitive basketball. You're seeing a lot of drama. We're loving what we're seeing. Let's actually talk about a game seven that actually just happened, and we are speaking about the Celtics and the 76ers. They had a game seven as we're presently recording, and the Philadelphia 76ers have knocked out the Boston Celtics. I'll start off with you on this one, Evan. How shocked are you about this? Is this an upset? Is this the major upset in this year's playoffs?
As much as it feels like a yes, I'm gonna say no. And here's why. At the end of the day, the Celtics weren't supposed to be this good. They're a tremendous regular season team. But at no point do we expect them to be the second best team in the East. And what we saw from Boston in multiple games of this series, is them resort to their worst habits that doomed them last year. And so, honestly, from a Boston standpoint, when you look at their roster, right? And I'm gonna get into this game seven because when you whether you were using strategy or not, but when you start Luke Garza, Ron Harper Jr., gonna be a great player, I'm sure. And Baylor Shireman in a winner go home game, exactly. I don't think I should be surprised if he went home. That's on the Boston side. Now we found out, about an hour or so before the game, that Tatum wasn't going to play, in part because his good leg got injured
His knee.
in game six. And so I think they made the right call. Sit him out. You got leg issues. It's not worth it. So I think they made the right call there. But yeah, this Philly team with a healthy Embiid, a healthy Paul George that took 25 games, to eat his Flintstone vitamins and power up, and a Maxi
I'm
and
about
an
to say,
Echo
man,
fired up.
don't get too crazy with that healthy Embiid stuff, bro.
I'm just
Healthy
saying,
PG, I'll give you
but
that.
I'm not getting too crazy. But he was healthy for 4 games. He was healthy for 4 games.
They didn't start winning until he came back.
Listen,
That's it.
34-12 and 6 in the closeout game.
That's it. And he actually, you know what I'll give Embiid credit for? He allows Edgecombe and Maxey to have the freedom to score how they do. As great as Maxey is, he still has proven or has shown that he's not that takeover guy yet, not in this environment, not in the playoffs, not in the end of the season. Whereas Embiid, who's been here
might even get
before,
it before he does.
Embiid, who's been before, well, Edgecombe, he was floundering too. He didn't hit a three till Embiid came back, which is basically Embiid giving him the freedom to do that because they're doubling, so he has a better
1000%
look at it. So
the assessment when Embiid coming back in has been spot on exactly why they've been able to be successful. 1000%.
To me, if I'm Embiid, I go back to the front office and I pull the Jimmy Butler. You need me. Because without me, you don't win this series, right? Because Maxey is showing he's not quite there yet. He's on his way. Don't get me wrong. He's on his way. And you have the rookie who's the only rookie in the offseason who's really doing it out here at a high level. You shown that that's the future, but they're not quite there yet. So I'm impressed, man. And it's funny because as this game, I watched the game as it was going on, and his knees got ran into twice by friendly fire. So he was hobbling on the court. He actually went to the back locker room because they're stretching out his right side where he had the appendectomy. So he's not fully healthy, but look at that, bro. A what? 80% Embiid got you? Come on, man. You don't need them full.
It's
Just
so crazy because
just give me 80, bro.
it's wild because it's like even sometimes you look like he looks almost discombobulated. Like what is happening in terms of like when he encounters contact and this and that, they're like. But then you look at the stat line and it's like this is exactly why you guys came out with a dub, and with the personnel, you got to give credit to the coaching as well.
Yes.
Offensively, Embiid knows how to play hobbled. He knows how to put up buckets in his current state. Defensively, he can still be. He's definitely not what he was. But for them, for him to be able to carry himself for 4 games, I coming into this game 7. Once you had to make it through. Okay, is everybody healthy? Is everybody healthy? Once I knew everybody was healthy Philadelphia they had 3 of the 4 best players on the court. So there's no reason they shouldn't have lost. They shouldn't have
Yeah,
won.
but weren't you worried about their execution though? Because isn't that always been one of the criticisms for a Paul George, for Philly in general, right? Is the
I'm glad that you brought up Paul
execution,
George.
I
right?
told you, man.
So
If Paul George is hitting, bro, that's your X factor.
Paul
Paul
George
George
did what
is
he had
just
to do,
like
man.
the tipping of the scales that makes sure that you win that game because a 75% Paul George, 75% Embiid with the roster that they have, everybody else all healthy, but specifically your Paul George because your Paul George 1000% tips the scales in your favor if he's
And I
playing at
go
a high level.
and I go back to this Celtics team, right? Who do we expect them to be coming into the season? We expecting them to be a playing team at best with this roster. They overachieved from a regular season standpoint, like another team we about to talk about here in a second, right? They overachieved from a regular season standpoint. They play with their food a little bit in the beginning of this round because they
that's the
thought
mm-hmm.
they thought they were the 60-win caliber team.
Mm-hmm.
But when they started getting
And
hit in the
they got
mouth,
caught slipping.
let's start missing 15 straight jumpers. Let's start, shooting threes for a whole fourth quarter, shooting ourselves out of it. Look familiar, y'all. I'm sorry. But
No, you're not wrong. And heavy criticism on Joe Mazzulla for that starting lineup, man. I think as someone who watched the game, that lineup, although I understand they gave you high energy in the previous game, but they gave you high energy in the flow of the game, not in the beginning of the game. And you had home court advantage, and you literally handicapped yourself unnecessarily. You started out the game in a deficit and you had to play uphill the whole game. Imagine you put your starters in, it might have been on equal footing and you may have been able to eke this out. It wasn't a large margin. You guys did go on a run, but going on a run while you're up top versus going on a run while you're going uphill, two different things. Go ahead, Ev. Last thing before we move on to Pistons Magic.
Joe Mazzulla did what a petty person does in a relationship when when somebody tells you you're not doing something that you need to be doing, and then you go and you do nothing but that, regardless of the situation. That's what Mazzulla tried to pull. His bench played excellent for him all season. he did not play them nearly like he should have the first 4 games of this series. He was getting
Mm-hmm.
criticized for not using his bench. No, Tatum playing 42, 45 minutes, etc. No business doing that. But because he got them out the floor, but he said, "Nah, I'm gonna go all the way now in the other direction.
Hold
I'm
up,
gonna
hold up.
start my bench."
Did you say he pulled the Kobe?
That,
Remember versus Phoenix when they were saying he was shooting too much?
that's what he did. Yes, that's what he did. He pulled a reverse Kobe, and,
Oh
and
man.
now he's in the reverse playoffs.
Oh man, that is crazy. Yeah, he's now he's in the
Yes,
he's in the reverse playoffs. He's in
he's in the
Cancun.
reverse playoffs. So
Oh man.
shout out
Oh
to
man.
Philly. We got something for y'all next week.
Hey, yeah, we'll talk about that because that's gonna be I feel like you guys were built to beat Boston. I think
That's
Philly I think
that's
Philly
that's
is a different a beast, but nothing that you guys can't conquer. But we'll get to that. Let's get to this other game 7 real quick. Let's get to this other game 7. So we have the Orlando Magic and the Detroit Pistons. This is the 1-8 seed matchup. Orlando came out and pounced on these Detroit Pistons, and it has been a slugfest from the beginning. To Detroit's credit, they've been punching back. They've made it a series, but they're not looking like the dominant team that they were this season. They're not looking like the what were they 60 win, 59 or so win team. 60,
62.
right? 62.
Let me
They're not
check.
looking like that team right now. They're looking like a team in desperation and desperate measures. Even this
60.
last game, 6. Orlando was leading for most of it. Detroit did not take the lead till the end, and it was a slugfest. And that's because Orlando missed what 17, no,
No,
22,
25.
25 shots they missed.
How about the 25? Bro? Yep.
That
25 straight
is
shots, bro.
wild.
They were
While we
up
were
Wild.
texting, it was
26
at
points.
17, and they missed another 8.
They were up 26 points.
So with this game 7 going on the line, what is more shocking to you? Detroit losing or Orlando like winning? Like what is more shocking with this outcome? Or is any outcome just going to be shocking anyway because of where the series is at? Anybody can answer.
I would be more shocked, honestly, if Orlando won, simply because the looks on their faces
Mm,
as that game was going down the drain last night was a look of, we don't know what to do. And what concerned me most about it was almost as if they stopped running offense. Like it was horrible to see. And so what concerns me about it was, and I hate criticizing individual coaches unless the name is Doc Rivers, but they look like a team that wasn't getting
Paying
answers
attention
from
to
their
your heart.
bench, that wasn't getting answers from their coaches, right? Nothing that can unlock this. They weren't just missing shots. They weren't running offense
Thank
anymore.
you. Thank you. I was about to say that. Like
Right.
it looked disjointed. You know what it looked like? It looked like a playground game.
It
It looked
did.
like a pickup game
It
of
did.
teams that were like of players that you just picked that didn't know each other's games. They were kind of looking at each other like we need a bucket. And I agree with you, Ev. I think it was a monumental failure on coaching's end to call a timeout, run a play. In my head, put Bankero in the post. He's strong. Go for the bucket or get fouled. Now you're at the free throw line. You can break that. If that doesn't work the first time, run it again. Rather than taking Bane, Suggs, everybody just pulling up and shooting. It to me, it was ugly basketball. I'm just gonna call it. It was ugly basketball. It was not fun to watch at all. Um, but even then, though, right? Detroit should have capitalized more than they were. That to me was also concerning.
Detroit is kind of like, I feel like they're like deer in the headlights type thing. Like, eh, you're not. It's like this weird of we're not used to being in this position of where we're not dominating, so now we're like don't know how to navigate being a better team.
But what's crazy about that, Lou, is they were here last year. They were in the playoffs. Like it wasn't like Detroit was Charlotte. You get what I'm saying?
A little
No,
bit.
agreed. That's why I gave this in comparison to them as OKC, right? When OKC was the number one seed, everybody says like this is the most non-believable or one seed that everybody had, right? When they were that one seed in the West Conference, and I think Detroit's kind of falling into that same space.
Well, so
They're
now
not completely green to the playoffs, but I don't think that in terms of what they've been able to accomplish in the regular season necessarily had they're gonna getting through this playoffs. I think may get them a little bit better in terms of better equipped, better battle tested, but they're not probably equipped for them to like what they've accomplished in the regular season is great, but it doesn't translate to for them to have the same success in the postseason, and that's what we're seeing right now.
but are we saying then that this number one seed that Detroit has acquired was happenstance and fool's gold and not necessarily a representation of their true strength in the Eastern Conference? So
I mean,
essentially,
like I said,
go ahead.
I keep no. That's what I said. I likened it to like when OKC was the number one seed in the Western Conference and arguably the tougher conference, but ultimately fell short. What they were able to accomplish in the regular season is great, but again, does that translate to a 7 game series when it comes to the playoffs? When a new playbook comes out, when the experience comes out, when the game slows down, and all these other pieces that during the regular season that may not necessarily have hold the same weight or the same importance, that are the pieces that you capitalize on that get you from one series to the next.
And I think another part of it as well is, and something that they were criticized for was not making any moves at the trade deadline. And
Mhm.
one of the concerns with that was, all right, you got Cade playing all NBA level, right? But outside of that, who's going to consistently get you a bucket on this team?
All right.
They had no other consistent playmakers,
It's not
and we
Duncan
were able.
Robinson.
Right. And so, and what you're seeing is, I mean, honestly, 90% of that comeback last night was Cade, right? I mean,
It
it
was
literally, it was
100% Cade.
right. And
He
so,
over. He said, "I'm going
Yeah,
to
you try to
take
be
it to
fake
the
generous.
hole."
You try to be fake generous to death.
Yeah,
well, no, you're right. And so, win or lose, they're gonna have to address that part of it. That
Tobias. That's what they need to address.
I
Tobias
mean,
Harris.
listen now, Tobias was 10% of it. Okay,
Nah,
if
man, just make a
yeah,
blockbuster
Tobias,
trade and get a
Tobias at least
bang
got
on
to
your
the free throw
team.
line.
Listen, man, I don't know. That series interests me, and I think before we move on to the next game seven, my summation of Detroit honestly is they took advantage of a tumultuous East during conference. The Knicks were battling their own demons, right? Celtics, as you can see, they were trying to figure it out, retooling. Orlando dropped, right? We see what happened with the Sixers, right? Cavs, they had injuries, so they were up and down the standings. So I think they were, this is me, I'll call it, I think they were a fake number one team. I think they were number one by happenstance. They were the healthiest in the Eastern Conference. They had mostly the same roster since they had last year, and that's what you got. Uh, that's just me right
So,
there.
so we're recording this Saturday night. The people will hear this Monday morning.
I think they'll
Are
come
you
out though.
picking Orlando? Oh, okay.
No, no, no. I'm not picking Orlando because they regressed to the mean,
Mhm.
right? Their biggest criticism is their anemic offense. So, yes, they found themselves in these couple games, but they're also regressing to the mean. You are who you are. So, I'm picking
It's
Detroit to come
crazy
out.
that they have an anemic offense with the trades that they made,
The
which
blockbuster
was in
trade, yeah,
part supposed to
it's wild.
bolster their offense.
Yeah. All right, guys,
Well, I
let's move
think
on. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead,
no,
Evan.
you're
Before we move on.
good. I know. I was just gonna say they're a different offense without Franz. Franz is out for
Yeah,
game
he's
7.
out too.
So
Yeah, he's
yeah,
out.
that's a big piece.
Definitely. All right, y'all. Let's move on to the last game 7. And as you know, we're presently recording. These 2 that we just mentioned are going to be played prior while you hear this. We have the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Toronto Raptors, man. I'll start off with this one. Maybe I'm a masochist. Maybe I just enjoyed the torture of it all because I want James Harden to be successful in the postseason. I want Donovan Mitchell to get the shine and credit that he deserves as an all-star player and guard. But man, do they frustrate the heck out of you. There's no reason they should be in a game
Can we
7.
block Hans in real life, yo? Let's just block Hans
There's
in real life.
no reason. This is what frustrates me, and I'll sum it up in 2 sentences. You've been here before. Why not do something different? You've been here before. Why not do something different? Literally, if you are a NBA fan who only watches basketball during the playoffs, right? You've been hearing the theme of intensity. The team with intensity usually wins the game. Who brings it, who starts with intensity. If you're trying to close out this team, why are you on your heels for 3 out of the 4 quarters? You're Donovan
The
Mitchell.
crowd in Toronto is intimidating.
I guess so. Donovan Mitchell, you've been here before with the Utah Jazz. James Harden, you've been here before with Houston, with multiple teams. Why are you guys not setting the tone and saying, let's pounce on them and close this out? Because we don't want to go to a game 7. Baffling to me.
Because they don't got to end them, man.
Baffling to me, bro. I just don't get it. I'll let you guys speak on it, though. What are your takes on this game 7 that's happening? We'll because it's going to be in Cleveland. Will Cleveland pull this out, or will Toronto get it going on? Shout out to Scotty Barnes for carrying the torch. No Brandon Ingram. He was actually coming off an injury himself as well too. So, what do you guys think? What's going to happen here with this game 7?
Well, before I go into this game 7, you know, we do this thing in Madison Square Garden where if you're a Knick for life, right? We recognize our Knicks alum. So I appreciate
You had to put it in there, boy. Go
giving
ahead, man.
Scotty
Get your Knicks
Barnes
talk off,
credit.
man. Get
But,
your Knicks
you
talk
know,
off,
I
man.
got to shout out the Maple Mamba, all right? Our RJ Barrett for
what?
carrying the torch as well, okay? For playing sensational in this series.
Did you watch the game?
For pulling a Kawhi Leonard 3-point game winner. I mean, I told you this is the NBA TV series for me. All right, don't ask me how much of this I watched. All right, I watched the part that counts. Okay,
You watched the highlights.
Let him get as much of his Nick love out of this.
I caught the end. I saw RJ pull, get the game winner, and I say all this to say there's absolutely no reason Cleveland should have won this game 7. There's no Toronto reason I can give you, Connor Murray Boyles, Scotty Barnes, Jacoby Walters dropped 20-something points. I don't know what to tell you about Toronto, okay? Cleveland has no business even being in game 7.
What's that center name? Pirtle?
Jakob Pirtle.
Jakob.
Cleveland has no business being in this situation, but the fact that this is just who they can't seem to help but be these past 4 years. And honestly, Cleveland's the entire story here, because if they don't pull out this game 7, which is funny that James Harden is associated with this.
I really hope they get bumped.
I think a lot of people do, because this is a blow it up potential if this takes place. Evan Mobley, it's great you had a good couple of games. I hope you're renting. Donovan Mitchell, they've questioned whether your heart's been in Cleveland, for the last 2 years. If y'all don't pull this out, get an agent, okay? Get a realtor. James Harden, good for you being better than Darius Garland during the regular season. If y'all don't pull this out, it's almost, this is like a tragic tale. This is Shakespearean. If James
Nah, he
Harden
might as well
loses
get another fat suit.
So if y'all are listening to this Monday morning and Cleveland has flamed out in the first round of the playoffs, I feel for everyone involved.
It's so upsetting. It's so upsetting. At what point am I going to just accept that they are who they are? I think that's what Ev's been telling me, man. When we spoke about it, he's like, that's James Harden. What did you expect, Hans? That's literally what Ev told me. Like, that James Harden is being
Yeah.
James Harden. Like, at
Between
what?
James Harden and Kawhi Leonard, you have to accept
Got you.
that
I'm
this
going
is
to
who
go ahead. That's who
consistent
they are.
disappointment. Just accept the consistent disappointment.
The 5 for 17 writes itself tomorrow. Is
All right, I'm going to throw an audible here. I think we have to discuss it as an NBA podcast. The Knicks and what they did to Atlanta. For my decades, about 3+ decades of watching this game of basketball, have never ever seen a playoff bashing, mugging, assault as severe as what the New York Knickerbockers did to the Atlanta Hawks. So severe that I think the Atlanta Hawks should start next season with a loss. That is how bad this lashing was. No.
Fancy.
Listen to me.
Start off with a
Listen
loss.
to me.
Ayo, shit.
Hey, yo. Listen to me, fam. This is a playoff game, my guy, in your house. You know what the Knicks did? They kicked your door open, came in your fridge, took out your eggs, your food, made made them a snack, sat on your couch, put their feet up in the air, took your remote, and started watching TV, bro. This is
Had the bacon and eggs, made coffee.
You left out a part.
What part, man? Go ahead, man.
You,
Get it
you,
off.
you,
This is
you
man.
heard the amount of Knicks fans. And not only did we do all those things, we invited our whole neighborhood over too.
Bro, you threw a block party in their house, son. You threw a block party in this house, yo.
That is the perfect analogy. The block party, 1000%.
Before I let Ev go, I want to give credit where credit's due. Karl Anthony Towns. You showed up. You did what you were expected to do for so long and realized that you are, after Brunson, the best player on that
Hey,
floor. You showed up.
Even giving him a compliment. Hans is giving him a compliment in the most chastising way possible.
No, I'm giving him his flowers. Yo, you showed up.
I understand what he says, like doing what you're supposed to do.
Shout out to you for really being that dude. You're getting blocks. You threw up a triple double one game. Shout out to you for realizing your potential and your talent out there. And also, last thing, sorry, Ev, I'm still your thunder, your next thunder. Shout out to Mike Brown. Mike Brown made adjustments that were necessary by switching Mikal to the back burner. Said, hey, man, relax for a second, bro. Let me make these adjustments. Shout out to him. I don't think Tibbs would have done that. Ev, go ahead, man. Go ahead, man.
So I'm gonna do this a little different. I know y'all expect me to gush over what I saw from the Knicks, but I mean, I said last week we had them right where we wanted them. I think we figured them out. We not only did we figure them out, we figured out some things about ourselves, about from a defensive intensity standpoint, about how we use Cat. Let's give him some credit. Let's give credit that he's been frustrated with how we used him. Right, we used him differently in this series, and I think in a way that can carry on from here. And you got a shout out to OG. I mean,
100%. I know
yeah,
it's not a
yeah.
contract year for him because he has like 2 more years for you guys.
Oh no, he just re-upped. He got
Oh, he
400,
read up? He got 4.
two,
Okay, yeah, shout out to him. Go
200,
ahead.
200 plus earning his
He got
money.
because he had a 1 year to come into this.
Yeah,
So you
yeah,
read
we
up,
re-upped him last summer. But Knicks, listen, we did our thing. Philly next round, so I think we're in a good place mentally and game plan wise. Hawks fans, outside of the ones that I spoke with Thursday night and said what I said and did what I did, Hawks, I mean, this one game aside, this one series aside, still in a good place. Now, I will say, Jalen Johnson didn't step up the way I thought he would in this playoffs, but he's young, still ascending. You you established an identity to an extent this season. You got what's going to be a top 7 pick because you get New Orleans pick. You got a little bit of cap space, so all in all, headed in the right direction as a team. CJ McCollum, maybe you don't have to drop 35 mil on him this off season. He came back down to earth. You may get a reasonable deal now for a player that is additive to you. So shout out to the Hawks. It's not hate here. Knicks fans don't hate the Hawks, okay? Y'all be hating on us, so it's all good. We were glad we were happy to come over.
No, I gotta
spend
ask
some
this
time
question.
in
I gotta
Atlanta.
ask this
Go
question.
for it.
No.
Go for it.
Why y'all still beefing with Trae Young? He not even there no more.
Guys, man, Trae Young know what he did, man. All right, Trae Young know what he did. It's one of the things that somebody is just on site forever. That's it. That's it. You got somebody from middle school or high school that you probably haven't seen since middle school or high school. But if you saw next week, it might not be on site, but you're gonna be checking to see. Let me see if it's on site or not before I die. Before we speak. That's the Knicks and Trae Young.
Hey, yo,
All right?
chill.
That's the Knicks and Trae Young. But yeah, from a Knicks standpoint, we I'm not gonna get too high on it. That night itself was good, one to enjoy, but we got to make sure we carry the lessons learned from the series on to the next series and not treat that like we accomplished anything. We put away a number 6 team in the first round like we were supposed to.
Yeah, man. Shout out to you guys. I am so so impressed with how you guys handle business. I will say this though. You guys were built to beat Boston, but you got Philly. I do think that you are the better team, but I think Philly presents a different challenge for you guys, but not one that you're incapable of, surmounting. So I think it'll be an interesting series, though. I'm excited to see where it goes, especially with the guard play, right? Because you have
Health plays
Brunson
a role.
Maxi matchup, which is going to be great. So I think it'll be an exciting series, and I think a more exciting series had it been Knicks versus Boston. So I'm actually really happy on what we're getting with this series, man. I think it's going to be great. I really think we're going to see the best of both teams. I think everybody's in the right momentum, right? You guys are coming off a great win. Like you said, you're finding yourself, you're finding things that are working. Philly's coming to, so it's teams that are peaking, at the right time and going head to head. So it's going to be a great matchup, and I'm excited to see it.
These
Tell
sucks.
Freeway and Meek Mill to put their money up to buy those extra Philly tickets out because the Knicks fans are coming.
Oh Lord. Here
No
you
one's
go.
winning out of the East. I'm telling you guys that.
No one's winning out of the East.
It's whoever wins the West is going to win it all.
Okay, we'll see, man. We'll see.
Yeah, and it's clearly won't be the Lakers, so give that up.
You don't know that?
You're right, because Rui shooting 70% from 3. The numbers keep going.
You guys
up.
laughed at me when I told you about Luke Kennard last time, and just keep on laughing.
Man, I'm not gonna say. I'm gonna.
And we want to thank you guys for listening to us this episode.
Thanks for listening to the 12 minutes of Lakers talk.
We gave y'all 12, man. That's a lot. That's a lot for a team that's about to be swept. I'm just saying, man. That's a lot. I said it on air. Swept. 0 wins. 4-0.
The audience knows how
heard
you
it
guys
here.
treat me. All right. They can hear it. They can see it.
All right, guys. As always, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. Check us out on our social media: YouTube, Instagram. Like, comment, share. Let us know what you think. Have a great rest of the week. Playoff basketball is here, baby. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.
What's up, guys, and thanks for listening. I want you to do 2 things for me right now. 1, give this episode a thumbs up, and 2, be sure to subscribe to our channel. You can also follow us on all the socials at the 3on3 Podcast and send us an email at the 3on3podcast@gmail.com. We appreciate you, and tune in next week.